Hi and welcome to my playhouse. And today I have a NAS, all SSD NAS from TerraMaster, and TerraMaster has sent me this because they want you to know about it. So they sent one to me for free to review and show. I found this funny. A beast. So yeah, in the palm of your hand. So this is, as it says, an all SSD NAS. So we're gonna have a look at this. So this is something brand new that TerraMaster has developed, and it's so brand new that they didn't have any of them in Europe. So they sent me one from China, which also means that I have some import tax that I had to pay to get this, which they will reimburse me with at some point, or I might be very disappointed with them. They claim a bit of stuff over here. 10 gigabit tool-free installation. I've checked that, that is true. TOS 6, that's the operating system. TerraMaster have developed their own NAS software that they put on their NASes. And let me just say that it's definitely improving over the generation. So it has become a lot better than it used to be. Then it says here that it fits 8 M.2 NVMe, and those are the size 2280, so like 80 millimeters long SSDs, 200% more performance and 19 dB, and that's the model number. And this is available in 2 sizes, and they actually sent me the big one, so I'm very grateful for that. So awesome. And here are some of the features that it can do. Storage for small business and home. And that's correct. This is not an enterprise level equipment. It lacks a bit on that side, like it doesn't have any redundancies on power or LAN or something like that. So file server backup solution, virtualization, video editing, 4K multimedia, home data center. It's kind of true. We'll get to that. The processor in this unit is rather powerful, so you can actually run a few virtualized machines that will do okay. So let's stop rambling and get this out of the box. Powerful, speedy and quiet. Cool. We have some paperwork, user manual. Let's keep those to later. Have some foam. I have had this out of the box, so I wasn't actually sure what I had gotten. So to make sure that I've gotten something before I paid the import thing, my mom had it out of the box for me. I was on vacation. So it comes with a network cable, a power lead, some tiny screws, screwdriver. I actually kind of like when there is tools with the toys. So, and a power supply. So this one is, it's a 12 volt, 6 amp, so it comes to a total of 72 watts. I don't think it's gonna use 72 watts, but yeah. And then there is a box here, and I thought when I just opened this, oh wow, they have included all the NVMe's. Awesome! But no, this is the cooling sinks to put on top of the NVMe's. So they have included some stuff for that. Well, it looks like a case that you get your RAM in, or something like that. So yeah, there's that. So let's see the box itself. And yeah, it's tiny because it's just gonna use those NVMe drives. So it doesn't. You can barely fit 2 3.5 inch hard drives in here. And I think when it's fully occupied, there will still be plenty of space in this box. I'm pretty sure they could make it a lot smaller without any issues. It does have a redundant fan solution in the bottom here. I'm not sure if that's the, well, is it supposed to sit like that, or is it, I think the rubber feet is here, so it's probably supposed to sit like that. And all the connections are out the back here, and the fans are there. Do they blow up or down? I don't know. We'll figure that out, maybe, if we get to it. So let's not power it on, let's take it apart. So I'll remove this little finger screw that they have very convenient placed there. And this comes up. There, this is just plastic box. and here is the whole thing. And more or less, this is a PC with a lot of NVMe storage space. So there is 4 storage space on this side, and there is 4 storage space on this side. There is 1 block of memory right there, and that's a 16 gigabyte memory block. I do believe it can be expanded to something bigger. If we check the connections, it has a, what is that button? It has a reset button. It has a reset button. It has the power connector right there. It has an HDMI connection, so you can connect this directly to a monitor or TV. It has a 10 gigabit Ethernet port right there, which is awesome, as it is all SSDs. So some of this awesome performance, you can actually get that out of there, which is a really big help. If this was like 1 gigabit or 2.5 gigabit, you would not be able to get to that data fast enough. Even with a 10 gigabit connection, well, you're kind of limited. The NVMe drives here are going to be way faster than you can get to your data. Then we have 2 normal, the old USB ports, and it says that these are 10 gigabit per second, and it has a USB-C connector over here, and it also says that that is 10 gigabit per second on the box here. So yeah, you can probably see that. It's right there. So TerraMaster. So to be clear, this is actually not a cheap unit, even though there is really not much in there. There's like this 1 PCB, there's 1 RAM block, 4 slots for the NVMe M.2 SSDs, 4 slots over here. We have the connections, and we have the processor on there here. And as said, there's 2 models of this. There is a smaller model and there is a bigger model. And the smaller model has a smaller CPU, and it only has half the amount of RAM. So with that one you get 8 gigabytes, and you get the Intel N95 CPU in here. This bigger model, well, clearly has 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it has the Intel N305. And both of those CPUs are really not that bad. So I have a little thingy I want to show you. Here is the comparison of those 2 CPUs, and you can see the N95 scores about 5,375, and the larger one, which I have in my box, the Intel Core i3 N305, scores 9,999, and both of them are really low power, well, 15 watts of each of them, well performing low power CPUs for sure. And you can do a lot with 9,999 CPU power. That's not bad at all. But they're not really giving these boxes away, even though it's a very, very, very simple box. This one is $799, right next to $800. And the Not Plus model is, I think, was about $100 less. So $599, that's $600. I'll check up that. Okay, that was correct. $799 for the big unit and $599 for the smaller unit. So there's like $200 difference. And for that money you get, well, this CPU is twice the speed of the other one ish, and you get twice the amount of memory. So what you don't get with this is any storage devices. So yeah, this is getting to be a very expensive review because I've had to go and purchase some storage devices to put in here. I haven't purchased a whole lot of them. I purchased 2 NVMe drives to go in there, and I'm pretty sure that some of you will be sitting there and wondering, why did I buy these ones? Why didn't I buy the Western Digital state-of-the-art fastest and whatever? This can only do 3,500 megabytes per second, and Western Digital has some that can do at least 1,000 megabytes more per second than this one. Well, this thing has a 10 gigabit output port, and the limitation of this 10 gigabit output port is like 1 gigabyte per second they actually claim in the documentation that it can do 1020 megabytes per second. That means that this thing alone, one of these, are like 3.5 times faster than what I can get out of my 10 gigabit connection right here. So this is already way overkill performance wise to what I can get out of the network. So if I put in way faster NVMe cards in there, I wouldn't see that performance going out of the box. If I had the box running some virtual machines and connecting to the storage directly, I might see it. But yeah, I cheapened out on that reason. I also got 2 terabyte drives. I felt like they were well priced. If I wanted like 1 terabyte drives, they would cost me more per terabyte. And if I wanted 4 terabytes, they would cost me more per terabyte. So this was like the sweet spot. So we need to put a couple of those in. Well, it came with a screwdriver, so that should be here somewhere. So I think that screwdriver might be good enough to put that in. And then, of course, I was looking in the documentation here because I wanted to check out where to put those 2 first NVMe drives in. So this one says user manual. And when we look at that, we have some pieces of paper, quick installation guide. It just gives us a QR thingy. Then we have a RAM installation thing, 2 drawings. Then we have some warranty. Yeah, I would admit that this is kind of useless. Yeah, there is that thing. That's probably the only thing that might be useful in this one. Then we have we had another one. It doesn't say what it is, but it was really just a drooling catalog. So you could see all the different stuff that you could get here. So there's the different NASes from TerraMaster, the very big ones to the smaller ones, and there's a coupon discount thingy do bob here. So I don't know if there is anything useful on that. You can get 100 euros off. Dollars. Oh, it's actually $100, euros, or pounds off. But it does have some nice graphs on the different NASes that they have here, and we can kind of see the different processors that I just talked about, the Intel N95 and the Intel Core i3-305, and there's the differences of the 2 boxes here, and it's more or less, it's those 2 that is the different, and the rest is just more or less, I haven't actually checked, but I'm doing it while I'm speaking, is the same. So for the $200 extra on the Plus model, you get twice the CPU performance and you get twice the RAM. So yeah, that's about it. That RAM block can be extended up to 32 gigabytes of DDR5 non-ECC RAM. And that's a bit of a shame that they chose non-ECC, but never mind, it's fine. So I couldn't get the QR code to work on my phone, but the link address here did work on my PC, and there is even little videos that shows you how to do everything. It doesn't really tell you if you only have 2 SSDs. It doesn't really tell you if you only have 2 SSDs which slots to put them in, but they're numbered. So this is 8765. So on the other side we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm guessing, let's try with number 1 and 2 and do that. So let's see these. This is usually really underwhelming. This was on the wrong side of 100 euros for a tiny little stick like that. And we want to put our little heatsink on that as well. So we need to find that again. Here is the package with the heat sinks. So we'll open that up. And we need to figure out which side the sticker goes on. Sorry, which side the heatsink goes on. Okay, they come easier out the bottom. There, we have 2 of them. So let's check. This one goes in, and it needs to go in like that. Okay. Slot number 1, so it needs to go in like that, and then we need to put the heatsink on this side. So here are all the heat sinks, little aluminium black things like that, and there is some heat transferring pads in this little bag. Probably 8, that's my best estimate. Take one of these heat transferring pads, and there is protective plastic on both sides, so remove that on one side. Make sure this is not too dirty. There, that'll do. There is a lot of religion to this. People will tell you to remove the sticker here because it improves the heat transfer and stuff, but yeah, I think it's fine. So we're just gonna pop that on there. I'm gonna remove the plastic though, because it has protective plastic on the other side, but until then, there is little rubber bands in this bag, so we need 2 of these little rubber bands to hold the heatsink on to the NVMe. So rubber bands there. So now we will remove the protective, if it lets me. There it is, the transparent protective thingy. And then we'll put this on where the kind of glues itself in place, but yeah, I wouldn't trust it. So let's do the rubber bands as well. Yeah, that's the point where you need 3 hands. Well, that's one of them on. Cool. And the other one. So I can kind of use one of the corners and pop it over. And he broke it! Ah, for crying out loud. Hope there's extra, or I'm screwed. Okay, maybe not do that. Okay. Guess that's not too bad. So we can put that in slot number 1. We need our supplied screwdriver to remove this screw. Probably by now everybody has tried this. It's not magic anymore. It used to be magic, but well, magic has died. Everybody does it now. There. So yeah, that's the first 2 terabytes installed in the tiny NAS, 8 bays. So I'm gonna do the other one. I counted them. There is actually 4 extra rubber bands. So I broke one, so I have 3 spares. So that's those 2 in. There is not much to do here. There's just those slots. There's a couple of connections for 2 fans. And over here, well, there's a tiny little connector here not doing anything. And then down here, we have a little USB stick, and that's where the operating sits on. My big fat fingers can't get that out at the moment, but yeah, there is where the operating system sits. And I have had luck with their other units to take that out and then run something else on this. So in that regard, this can very easily be turned into a little server, like a Proxmox server, with good storage capacity and a very decent processor. And the RAM block can be upgraded to 32 gigabytes of internal memory. But yeah, let's put it together. It's very easy. Okay, I guess we are ready to connect something to it. So power on. I have connected the power adapter that plugs in, and I have a network cable. This is only 1 gigabit. I don't have 10 gigabit in my living room. I know that's something I had to have fixed, right? But yeah, pop that in, and then it should just be a short press on the power button. I hear the fan. You heard the beep. So now I should be able to go to the computer and hopefully communicate with it. Oh, it does a bit of beeping. Oh, we forgot this label on the front. It actually says who it is. Look at that, the F8-SSD Plus. I can feel the air going upwards here. So it's blowing the fans that way. That means that it will attract a lot of dust when it sits like that. That means that it might not be the best thing to have sitting on dusty surfaces. Well, actually nothing is. Okay, we've moved to the computer, and we can just start here. This is the different product that TerraMaster has, and they have quite a lot by now. So they are kind of getting quite serious in this market compared to the competitors, and we can see the one that we are messing with is right there. So although I have the screen, if you didn't catch it the first time, that's the CPU speeds. Never mind. When you go in and you want to configure this is the help you get. There's a list of things that you can do, and we are about to configure our thing. We have already installed the SSDs. We have talked about hardware information, packets. I showed you what was in there, and then we need to go for this. Prepare for the TNAS startup. So when we go here, it tells us to connect our device to network and power and press the blue button on the top. We just did that. Try and keep up, will you? Next, yeah, we need to find our NAS. So we need to go to this address. I think we'll just click that. And it gives us a warning, tells us that our TNAS has not been initialized. Please follow the prompt, initializing, blah, 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 blah. Keep it connected, don't blah, blah, blah. Next. So automatic initialization has begun. Has it already found it? That was quick. Usually it pops up and tells me what it has found. So this is kind of disturbing. Let's just imagine if I had all of the NASs that we just looked at over here, or if I had a handful of them and I didn't know which one was being initialized at the moment. So it will do something by itself. If you wish to customize the system disk, system storage pools, create blah 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 using this. Yeah, I should have done that. Now it's too late. You wasted your time. Following disk will be initialized. Are you sure? That's pretty nice. If I was stupid enough to put something in there that I didn't want to delete. And it actually tells me that it's disk number 1 and disk number 2, which corresponds with the drive base that I put them in there. So that is good. Confirm. And looks like we have the newest version of the TOS, the operating system from TerraMaster. This is taking too long. I'm having difficulties paddling. TerraMaster did send me this list of things that they thought that it would be very important for me to tell you about where TerraMaster is here and against their competitors here, and they have a whole ton of things that is supported, and the other competitors not so much. I don't think I would go so far. So let's slide that to the side and wait for this to come up. Okay, it completed that. They want us to sign this or agree to that. I have read. Oh, I haven't really, but well. So now it wants us to give it a name and password and confirm password and username and stuff. So yeah, we'll do that. There we are. Next. Oh, security email. Verification code. Okay. Now it's getting secure. Okay, that were actually a way to skip that. So now I'm in and I have connected to the NAS address up here, and it's telling me the different stuff that I can do. So, yeah, it's popping up with stuff all over the place here. The rate in the storage pool 1 synchronized start. The process will take 322.6 minutes. Since rates can blah blah blah, slow down, recommended that you stop. Whatever. 322 minutes, that's 5 hours. Quickly access application when in the system through blah 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 blah. We can back up, we can control panel, we can do some stuff over here. Useful tools. Try it now. Does look a bit like Synology, I must admit. I'll click around a little bit and see what I come up with. Okay, I've clicked around a little bit, and I must admit, TOS has come a long way. So this is the screen that we are getting welcomed with. This is like your desktop for the NAS, and you have this start button where you can log out, you can power on and off, shut down or reboot, and you have some of the most used things that you can put in here. So that is good. You have your file manager. It's pretty normal file manager, I think. Our volume here, and it has created some libraries. I'm sure you can customize a lot of things right there. It also has applications. This is where all the applications that you have installed, or that is easily accessible to you, that the unit comes with. And if you install some more applications, well, they will pop up in here. For example, Docker Manager. If you press it, it will come and tell you that Docker is installed, but it's really, that's one of the programs that they very highly recommend that you put on there. So we're not going to do that now. So we have this, but there is the App Center, and I have been in here, and we start out by getting this warning of if you install different applications, they will be running in the background when you're using your NAS, and they will slow it down. So what they're recommending here is not to actually install a lot of stuff that you don't need. So yeah, it's good advice. Don't install a lot of stuff that you don't need. Only install it when you need it. And if you don't need it, uninstall it, because it's eating up your resources. So I've seen it. We don't want to see it again. So first we get all the recommended applications, and there is quite a lot of them. You can just scroll down and you can pause and see if there is anything that you can't live without. Okay, maybe I am at the bottom. I would have thought they were in alphabetic order, but it seems that they're not. So I would have had this thing go to the bottom when I stretched it, but apparently if I undo that and go in there again, it's this big, and when it's that big it goes to the bottom. But if I pull it up and I extend this, the sliding bar doesn't go to the bottom, but it stops where it would have stopped in the other instance. So, well, all of these are the recommended things that you can install.
There's even more. If you press all, you get a longer list of stuff. You get 49 different applications, and then there's community apps, and that's where you get another warning that HomeNAS is not responsible for any of these apps, and this is on yourself if you go this route. So okay, so we go on to a thingy where there's a lot more stuff available here. So, but there are some good ones. Home Assistance right there, BitTorrent right there. Yeah, but some of them are here more than once. Home Assistant there, Home Assistant there. So it becomes quite complicated what to get. So back to this one. So that's applications that can be installed that is free to use. At least I think they're free to use. Some of them might have built-in payment. I haven't checked that. So next one, next button is the backup thing, and it gives us a very good overview of what possibilities there are. So that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna back up anything. We don't have anything to back up yet. So cool enough. Then we have our settings button here. And here we get all the stuff that we can do with our box. And there's quite a lot. And it's very nicely put together. It feels very much like Synology in here. We can check our storage pool, and it has done a T-rate. I'm not entirely sure what a T-rate is, but I think it's a mirror. It looks like it has taken the 2 drives that I put in there, and it has made a 1 volume out of them, and it's running BTRFS on that, and that should be perfectly fine. It's a good way to do it. Unfortunately, I didn't see the different possibilities, but with 2 disks, there's probably just RAID 0 and RAID 1, just a bunch of disks. So, and we see the disks here. We can get some additional information on them, see what they're doing. They have been working for me for about an hour. They're 31 degrees warm. Nice. Virtual disk. Haven't made any virtual disks yet. USB devices. So it has the USB connections on it, so you can connect something USB to it. Nice. There's like a bunch of settings, like on any NAS. Network settings. You can change all these default things. You can enable, so you can SSH or Telnet to it. There's also some remote access so that you can connect to it cloud. If you're on an internet connection where you can't port forward anything, then this remote access is great. But even though this NAS has a lot of new features and a lot of applications that you can install here, a NAS is like a network attached storage, and it's storage. You need your files. So we have our file thingy here, and it keeps popping up that I need to back it up. I haven't done anything on here yet. So if we go in here, we can see that we have volume 1. We have a home directory, and I am there. That's my thingy here. So you naturally want to be able to control your files on your NAS, and that is done here under this setting thing. And there's like users. At the moment there's 2 users, guest, which is not enabled, and then there's me, which is normal. And well, if you have a lot of users, you will go and configure those into groups, admins, all users, and I'm sure there is a lot of more things. You can build your own groups that has access to different stuff, shared folders. It can communicate with Active Directory, LDAP stuff, remote folder, another pop-up for something that we should install, applications. We can see what's active and what's not active and stuff. So yeah, I have already figured out that I can see my my folder here. So just for fun and giggles, we might try and put something in it to see if that will work. So let's try and pop that file in there. That just happens to be the Proxmox installation file for version 8.2.1. So that moves to the NAS maximum speed. I am only on a 1 gigabit connection here. So that copied over there really quickly. Okay, so it's still open. There is my Proxmox installation ISO. It popped up in here as well. So yeah, the file thing works just as it should. So no complaints there.
So that's very impressive. The TerraMaster with the new operating system TOS 6 does even more than the TOS 5. Who would have thought? And it doesn't take up much space, and it isn't noisy at all. So it's a tiny little NAS. I put in 4 terabytes of NVMe storage into it, and I can expand this. At the moment, they're not crazy expensive anymore, but if I want anything bigger than 2 terabytes, it does begin to become costly. But as time flies, in a little bit, I can probably get 4 or 8 terabytes of these for more manageable prices along the way. So I started up with 4 terabytes, and the limitations of this is naturally, what do I do when I put the next one in here? What will happen? Can I expand my disk array, or do I have to create a new disk array, and so on and so forth? I haven't looked into that yet, but that's going to be a new thing. It would be very irritating if I had to pull all the data out of here, make a new array and put it back in. But yeah, sometimes you have to do that. Not all of these boxes are made equally. And this is the first one that I've ever messed with that does NVMe drives. Can you hear it? I can barely hear it. The fans are spinning in it, and it is producing heat. So it is using some power, because I can feel the heat coming out of it. It's not a hairdryer, but more or less it's a home server. The 9999 processor performance in this will do a lot of stuff. And well, VirtualBox is one of the applications that you can install on that, so you can easily run like a handful of other servers on this server 2022. You can have Linux installations, you can have, well, pfSense might not be the best choice as there is only that one network connection. You would have to do some funny stuff to get that good. But yeah, it's a cool box. It's a bit pricey for the size, really, but that's just because it doesn't feel like you're getting a lot for your money. But I've actually bought NASes that was twice as expensive as this, maybe even 3 times as expensive as this, and they had a lot less oomph than this one, both processor and RAM. So yeah, do check out the TerraMaster F8 SSD Plus and its little brother without the plus in the description below. So you can go and see if this is something that you might want to look into. I'm sure no one has any suggestions on what virtualization software I could maybe install on this. So please leave that in the comments below. Other than that, thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again, and have a really nice day. Bye bye.